super long evening for everybody. Probably gonna have tough stretches. Yeah, we're very excited. Obviously, Clint Capela has, we thought the highest upside out of the top few guys in the draft. Wingspan would be second to Anthony Davis. Can really rebound, block shots at a high level in First Division France. Great kid. We had him in to Houston early in the process, and young. Obviously, draft off is about upside. We think this guy has a real chance to be a very high level player in the league. Nick Johnson, I think, needs less introduction to fans. Obviously, he was we think the most productive player on the best team in the country in Arizona. Multi-position defender, can defend the 1, the 2, big-time athlete, Pac-12 Player of the Year. Potential two-way player, great high character, tough guy, and really has driven Arizona's success the last couple of years. And then finally, I can announce we made if you haven't already, we made a trade with Minnesota for 53 cash to Minnesota. Mr. Alexander spending money again to make the team better for Alessandro Gentile. He's actually playing in the Italian League finals. He's on the best team in Italy. It's a EuroLeague team at the highest levels of Europe. He's 22, still has upside. Team captain at 22, and this is a team filled with mostly 28, 35-year-olds. Very Delfino-like in body. Can attack the basket, can pass, has the size to defend. Really productive player. Somebody who, for sure we think could help us in the future. So, any questions? Appreciate it.
Capela said that he'd like to come and play for the Rockets this coming season. Is that still, I assume, up in the air and to be decided?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to either Gentile or Capela's agent, so it'd be unfair for me to talk about that right now. But for sure, they're helping the Rockets in the future.
There was a lot of teams interested in Clint. It was been reported that a lot of phone calls even after you selected him. Some were hoping that he may fall and maybe get a diamond in the rough later, like at 29 or 30. Were you glad were able to get him?
Yeah, like most GMs, we're thrilled with who we got at our pick. But absolutely, we had him, very high on our board. We're obviously, still looking for. Just if you look at the draft overall, we feel like we got two guys who could help right now. In Nick Johnson, very accomplished player, could come in and potentially crack our rotation. And Gentile is a guy who could come in and crack our rotation. Capela's probably a little bit down the road, but not too far. I mean, he already was. You could easily argue the best big in the French Pro A League at his age. His ability to rebound, he's super athletic. I don't think it's too far off where he's helping the Rockets.
Are there contractual situations with either one of them?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't talk about it. That's, we have to work that out with the agents, the buyouts. They have, there's always details to, each situation when it's an international player like Capela and Gentile.
You've had a lot of good things to say about Nick Johnson. Was there anything in particular beyond that stood out about why you liked him here?
Yeah, I just think, obviously perimeter defense has been a challenge for us. That's something that he excels at. He's got the athleticism and the focus. He knows that's what he's going to hang his hat on in the league, and already what he hangs his hat on in Arizona. Beverly is our best perimeter defender, and our perimeter D was pretty challenged last year. I think it'll be tough for any of these guys, obviously, to crack our rotation. It's just, we're winning 54 games, hopefully a lot more next year. But, both Nick and Gentile definitely would have a chance to do that. Again, Capela's, we just got to sit down with his agent, put together a plan of development for him. But I think, you can, I don't want to put a comp on him, but you can put him right up with he's from Switzerland. and you can put him right up with all the bigs that were over there in terms of upside and his potential.
With you taking him in the first round, do we expect the development to be in the D-League or staying overseas?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, I haven't had a chance to talk to his agent. I want to put together the best plan, work together with Clint and Buna, his agent, before I say, where it'll be exactly.
What did you like, or what did you maybe find out when you had a chance to work it out?
Oh, with Clint?
Yep.
So one of the things we really like about getting our hands on guys is we spent a lot of money. Mr. Alexander's given us a ton of money to spend on evaluation techniques. That we really feel like we can dive into athleticism, reaction time, along with looking at his basketball skills, pick and roll, guarding pick and roll, finishes, different kinds of finishes, left, right, how he adapts to coaching, all those things. We feel like we have an edge there. And when we get him in here, he stood out as in the top 2 or 3 most athletic bigs, in the draft, and obviously already productive. So you have upside, and he's already showing it on the floor in French Pro A, which is a very high level league in Europe.
You said he had the second best upside of the bigs of the.
No, I thought he had the best upside outside of the top few picks in the draft. Which it was a very good draft. So you got some really high level guys up top, but like right outside that top 10, I think he's got the most upside.
He said he when asked for an NBA comparison, he said Serge Ibaka. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I think it's a little unfair. I don't like putting comps on guys early. The fact he said it, I do think it's a goal for him to, obviously Ibaka is one of the top few players in the league, and I do believe he has that potential, but it's going to take a lot of work, and obviously he's got a long way to go to get to someone, who's arguably the 3rd best player on. A team that wins 55-60 and makes the conference final. So I do think he has that ability, however, and we're excited about it.
At present time, you expect Nick Johnson to be on your summer league teams, and I'm sure of the others.
Yeah, just because he's from U.S. college, things are easier with contract. So I'd say for sure him, and then again, I've got to talk to the agents of Clint and Gentile. Gentile is actually playing the Italian League Finals. It's like the biggest game in 20 years for his team in Milan. Best team in Italy and one of the top EuroLeague teams. So, we can't even talk to him actually. We talked to him earlier in the process, and he's been tied up, winning games. He won a game on the road, Game 6, to bring it back home to Milan tomorrow night.
With the team that you had last year, aspirations, and then what you have planned for this summer, how would you feel about having 3 rookies plus 3 second-year guys who didn't play hardly at all, half the team being that inexperienced? Would that fit with the team that you're trying to put together in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think everything's very flexible, so we, that's why we have to talk to the agents of both and figure out the best plan for them and the Rockets and everything. So all these guys are very flexible in how we look at things.
But that part's not up to the agent. Would you be okay with having 6 first or second year players on a team that is aspiring to more than rebuild?
It's about the draft, man. Can we let's just be excited about the players for a little bit. So.
Last year after the draft, you guys quickly lined something up with Robert Covington. Are you guys right now actively looking at undrafted players?
Yeah. Well, you can't. I mean, the only thing you do is invite them to summer league at this point. So we invite them to summer league, and then we tell them, they've got to play their way into earning a contract. But yeah, of course, all the teams that do their diligence, and it's most of the league now, invite people to summer league. We're doing both summer leagues, Orlando and Vegas. That'll give us an opportunity to evaluate even more players and then give a contract to the best ones, and then they'll fight to make the team on a training camp. Obviously, Covington is a good, and Troy Daniels are both examples of that. And obviously, Troy, you see how that worked. I mean, even though he was young, Jonathan, Troy Daniels helped us in the playoffs. So, so I would say you never know. You just got to do your work and see who wins the battles. And so yeah, we're doing that work now.
And without naming names, were there a couple that like really shocked you that weren't drafted?
I mean, it was unbelievable how many. I mean, the guys who went undrafted would go like, you know, maybe late first, early second in some drafts. So yeah, there was some great players undrafted, I thought, this year. Yeah.
Daryl, just a cap clarification. If Capela stays overseas, there's still a cap hold for whatever the first year contract is?
Well, it depends. Again, I'm not getting into that until we get to with the agent and things like that. But you know, it's without saying this is referencing to anything with Gentile or Capela. For example, with Donatus, he stayed overseas, and there is no cap hold in that situation when they stay overseas.
But even if it's a first-round pick with it?
Yeah, they changed that rule with the last CBA.
Okay.
Between this draft and free agency, all things considered, this offseason, how would you define a successful offseason for this particular year?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're draft related, to Jonathan's point. I mean, I think we're focused on big, you know, making an improvement to a 54-win team that I think if we didn't do anything would win more than that. That we're in the very difficult last stages of trying to become, you know, at least a second-round, third-round team, and hopefully a finals team. That's the hardest step to make, but we're trying to make it this summer. So I think if we make the moves that we think put us in that next tier up, where we're, you know, just right there, and you can count us in the top 2 or 3 teams in the league, that would be obviously successful. You know, it's not easier. They'd let more than one team win. So, yeah, so that's our challenge this year.
Hey guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thanks for waiting. I know it's so
Appreciate
late.
it.
Hey,
At least I'm doing it today. Sam's making everyone wait till tomorrow. It's a national crisis up in Philly.
It's later
loves to piss
there.
them off.
It's a national crisis in
He
Philly.
loves to piss them off.